Ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between, I finally got my hands on the new WlToys 144001, the 14th scale buggy with a ton of stock metal parts, which is going to save me money in the long run. So I will just quickly go over the things that I did to mine. So first, I'm sure you've noticed the tires. These are not the stock tires. These are the stock tires. And they're good. I used them, but I just like the look of these red ones better. Like the whole car is like white and gray and black and red. So having tires that are black and red just look awesome. Now, one thing that I want to make sure I include in this video is some people asked me about upgrading this, like the A959s or the 979s or pretty much anything WlToys. And there is upgrades if you go to Alibaba. That's actually the only place that I have found that has upgrades specifically for this car. But this car is actually a clone of another car. This car is a clone of POW, the LC Racing 12B1. Now, LC Racing is, well, I mean, a lot of companies, but since we're talking about this specific style, LC Racing does the same thing that WlToys has been doing for a long time, which is using basically the exact same car and just putting a different shell on it with a different paint job and giving it a whole new model number. So there is actually several of LC Racing's cars that are identical to the new WlToys, including the LC 12B1, the LC Racing EMB 1H, the EMB 1HK, probably this one here looks like it, the 12B1HK. So it's pretty much the same thing as the glare. The glare is really annoying. It's pretty much the same thing as WlToys, where they made the, I don't know which came first, probably the A959. And then they used that exact same chassis on the 959B, the 979, the 979B, and several other of their cars. So as far as upgrading goes, no. If you go to eBay and you type in upgrades for the WlToys, you won't find anything because it's such a brand new car. But if you go to eBay and say you want upgrades for this or that, or any of the model numbers that have, identical parts, then you can find upgrades for it, which is what I am going to be doing because it's cheaper, they are more plentiful, and there's more options since there's like a bunch of different cars, which means there's a bunch of different colors, and I'm sure at some point they're going to be doing the same thing as they did with the 959, which is make a bunch of cheap Chinese parts made by some mystery factory in China, and they're going to be sold for dirt cheap on the American side of eBay. So I'm sure that'll happen eventually with WlToys. Future Josh here. I just realized that I forgot to add into the video that a thing that I was going to put in there. The reason why you can find the exact same car by LC Racing for $200 versus the WlToys version for $75.85 is for one reason and one reason only. Well, maybe not one reason. There may be several reasons, but one of the main reasons is the same thing with anything else in the mass production world. When LC Racing put the plans into action to make this car, they had to either use existing parts or make parts to make the parts, which is extremely expensive, like making the dies for machines and buying the tools and renting the factories or getting a contract with a factory or something like that. But more than likely, because most of the things that are mass produced in America are actually made in China anyway. So there's some factory somewhere that has little individual parts for everything. Just look around your house. You probably have 1,000 things laying right in front of you that were made in some Chinese factory. So the reason why they can do it for cheaper is because the parts already exist. Even though it's the exact same car for LC Racing that it is for WlToys. Like, part of the reason is you're buying with LC Racing, you're buying an established brand, so there's a premium on it, but a lot of it has to do with the production price. Obviously, if it costs more to produce, they have to charge more in order to make their profit margins. So if the parts already exist, then WlToys can step in and say, hey, we want to use those exact same parts to build the exact same car, but we'll give it a different name so we're not like copyright infringing. So LC Racing obviously does not have a patent on that style of car. So WlToys stepped in. They decided to use pre-existing dies and pre-existing machine parts and pre-existing injection molding components, and they made the exact same car, but didn't have to pay for any of the parts to be created. So don't think just because it's made by WlToys and it's, a third of the price, it means it's any less of a car. It may be. I've never had the LC Racing version, but keep in mind that that's the majority of the reason why it's so cheap for WlToys to do something and so expensive for LC Racing to do something, because whoever does it first has to pay somebody somewhere for them to create the parts needed to create the part that's going on to the car. Like, they don't grow parts on trees. Like, they have to create the tools that create the parts, and that is extremely expensive. But that's all I wanted to add in there. I'll let past Josh get back to it. The things I did to mine are the same things you should do to yours, which are, before you even run it for the first time, I would throw some grease on any moving part. I actually got to clean that up. I gooped it in there, just gooped a shitload of it on, and then went and drove it. So anywhere that the grease was going to get, it had enough time and enough grease where it could seep into everything that needed it. I opened up the diff cases, and I opened up the differential itself inside of the diff case and greased up all the gears. I cleaned everything and then put new grease on the gears because they had a little teeny tiny amount, and it looked like Vaseline or something like that. And the main gear, I also opened that up and put grease in between the pinion and the main gear. I also took these shocks completely off of the car, emptied them, cleaned all the components, and then filled them back up with Team Associated 40 weight 500 CST shock oil. This is silicone shock oil. I highly recommend doing that. You could probably even, this works, it's good, but you can go thicker if you want to. No bounce. Perfect. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Now, there are things that I do not like about this car. First of all, one of my tires flew right off because these lock nuts are terrible. That really, really annoyed me. I've only driven this car for 5 minutes and then spent 45 minutes trying to find the lock nut in the parking lot. Couldn't find it, so I came back in and had to take a lock nut off of right in here. And that's where that one is from. That and the same thing that happens with a lot of RCs, which is the front is nice and stiff, the front is perfect, but then the back will hit the ground without a problem. Now, I've tried adjusting these. There's actually a lot of adjustments that, well, I mean, not a super ton, but a good amount. There's 2 different holes here and on up here. You can't really see it from that side. On this side, there's adjustments here, and there's even more on the front. There's 3. I tried all combinations of that to try to get the least amount of travel, and that is the least amount of travel, and it still hits the ground. Meaning, if I ever do any serious jumping, I'm going to have to put something there, just so it's not destroying the chassis, because eventually that will, like, grind it down to a little weak piece of metal, and those screws will just pop right through. Another thing I strongly dislike about this is whenever I get a new RC car in the mail, like, these things are mass produced. Like, they probably have a production line. It's just a bunch of people just doing a bunch of, screwing in a bunch of screws or doing whatever their station is supposed to be doing. So I always go through and I double check every single screw in the car. I unscrew them a little bit and then I screw them back up to where I know the pressure is perfect to how I want it. Well, this had 2 different screws that came pre-stripped. So yeah, that is extremely annoying. One cool thing about this, you see how there's 2 holes right here? That is not from missing screws. That is the battery brace. There's 2 right there, and then there's 2 holes right here, and these 2, the ones that my fingers are touching, these 2 screws are connected to a little piece of plastic I'll show you in a second. That is the front side of the battery brace, and you can either move it there or you can move it there for bigger batteries. So either one of those 2 positions. So let me pause this again and I'll open her up. Alrighty. Now, another person asked me, can you run these on 3S? And I'll tell you all the same thing I told him and the same thing I tell everybody. Can you run it on 3S? Yes. You could do whatever you want. You could run it on 12S. But no guarantee to how long it's going to last. You got to keep in mind these ESCs are nothing special. Whatever the electronics are that come in your car, those are the electronics you want to run. Now, there is certain thresholds, like it's a 7.4 volt battery. They're not going to make a ESC that handles exactly 7.4 volts, and if you put in 7.5 volts, you fry the ESC. There is a bit of leeway. So that little bit of leeway is why some people think that they could put, 3, 4, 5S batteries in their cars. Oh, nothing bad happened. Okay, well, run it for more than 20 minutes and, see what happens. Guaranteed to overheat a lot quicker. And who knows? They might actually use this exact same ESC in some other model car that does take 3 and 4S and handles it perfectly. But that's a maybe. And the guaranteed yes is that this can handle 2S because it comes with a 2S. That's not the battery it comes with, but it comes with the 2S. It actually comes with this, right? Which is a 7.4 volt, 1500 mega amp hour. Now, it also comes with, I haven't read the instructions. I actually haven't even opened up this package yet. Oh wait, yeah I did. That's a lie. I had to take out the little cross wrench thing. It comes with this charger right here that's made for charging 2S batteries only. And it's a 2 amp charger, which is, decent. 2000 mega amps, aka 2 amps. So it's a decent powered charger. The issue is there is no indicator light on it to let you know when it's done charging. I assume this is a balanced charger. It doesn't even say that it is. I mean, you could probably Google that model number, KX74V-200. You could probably Google it to find out more information about it. But I stand by what I said. This does not even have an indicator light to let you know when the battery is done charging, which means you could plug it in, and anybody that runs LiPos, they know on their balance charger, your one cell might get done charging, and your second cell might get done charging an hour later. So this, you have no way of knowing what's what. So I recommend you don't even use that unless you have to. If you have no other charger, then yeah, that'll be fine to use it. Charge your battery for like 3 or 4 hours, and then make sure you take it off right afterwards. Now, what I do recommend, these things right here, these are not expensive. And not only can these do 2S and 3S, these all also have indicator lights for each cell. It'll tell you when it's charged. And this is a balance charger, so this will balance your cells perfectly. What is the model number on this? The B3 Pro by IMAX B3 RC. This is a cheap, good charger. If all you need is 2S and 3S, which is all I need, I can't remember how much this was, but it was cheap. Definitely worth it. Definitely worth the money. So now, back to the car. Let's see, what do I like about the car? I went over what I don't like. What do I like? I do like that it has a big-ass 550 motor. Now, I don't even know why they call it a 550 or what those numbers mean, but I do know that this is a 3660 motor. That is the size of the motor. It is 36 millimeters across the short that way, and 60 millimeters long. So, if you ever want to upgrade to a brushless system, kinda like something like that. Like, how much is this? This is $36, and it was actually supposed to be here today, and they were late, which means eBay gave me a $5 voucher, which means I only paid $31 for this. So $30, you get yourself an 80 amp ESC, 80 burst. It comes with the ESC, which is 2S and 3S capable. It's brushless, obviously, and it is a 3660 with a 5mm shaft, and as you can see there, 3300 kV, which means this car is going to be way faster than it was. I'm sure it'll lose some torque, like often happens when you go brushless, especially when you go brushless and go to some insanely high kV, you're going to lose torque. These little brushed motors, they're good for torque. They're good for low speeds, and they're torquey when you hit the throttle wide open. That is the one thing I love about them. But brushless last way, way, way longer, and they're faster. They're faster all around. So I cannot wait for that to get here. Now, to the radio. The radio that I've been using is this right here, and I abso-freaking-lutely love this radio. The FlySky GT3B. FlySky. I always call it FlySky. I'm not sure how you actually pronounce it. I've heard both. I've heard FlySky and FlySky. But this remote is 3-channel, and it actually has the internals for an 8-channel radio. I definitely recommend this radio to anybody that wants to upgrade their stuff from stock and just get a little bit better of a radio. This thing feels good in your hand. The only thing that sucks is it takes 8 AA batteries. Actually, I might as well just show you if I'm talking about them. That is a lot of batteries. Now, I do have rechargeable batteries in here, which helps a lot. But these batteries last forever. They last so long. It tells you the voltage of your batteries, which is awesome. There is 10, I think, 10 different models. So anyway, I definitely recommend this radio to anybody who wants to upgrade. But I say all that to say this. This is the radio that I'm used to using. Like, it just works great. It works so good. I love this radio. This is the favorite radio that I've ever had. And I've had really expensive radios before. This one's still my favorite. Now, the one that comes with these cars, it's extremely light. Like, every time I pick it up, I'm like, oh, wow, that's light. Like, I'm pretty sure, yeah, the stock radios that come with the 959 are actually heavier I mean, it's a little bit bigger, so that would make sense, but like they definitely look cooler than the old ones. It's still plastic. It looks rubber, but it's not. So back to this. I mean, it's your basic 2-channel remote. You can control it with one hand, which is cool. Very easy to do that. You got your throttle dual rate. This is not throttle trim. This is throttle dual rate. That is a very important distinction. And this is steering trim, not steering dual rate. Steering trim, throttle dual rate. You got your power switch, and you got this mode button, which I have no idea what it does, actually. I've never pushed it. I'm going to have to play with it at some point and just push it and see what happens. I mean, there's really not much to say about this radio. It takes 4 batteries. And it's a radio. So, after being so familiar with the GT3B, it actually feels awkward and horrible switching to back to a cheaper radio. It feels like crap. So I already have another receiver. I mean, another transmitter. That is going in here. As soon as the brushless system gets here, I can't freaking wait. That's going in here. The brushless system is going in here. This brush system is coming out and going in my box of random RC components to be used on a different project, maybe. And then I could use my good radio with this car, which will be freaking awesome. One main awesome thing about this car is this servo. I don't know if it's just the setup, the way that they put all the steering linkages and everything, or if it's just that this servo is that great, but this servo is that great. It is extremely fast, like surprisingly fast. Actually, let me show you that real quick. So turn your radio on. There we go. And then turn your car on. You always want to turn your radio on first, just in case you get a runaway. If you have not set the failsafe in your receiver, you can get a runaway. Obviously, fully proportional steering. Honestly, I love this car. Alright, well, I've already been recording for 25 minutes, so I want to get this done and edited. I keep saying I want to make a short video, and it ends up being extremely long. So, there you guys have it. Do I recommend this car? Abso-freaking-lutely, I do. Now, one very unfortunate thing is I bought this car from the only seller on all of eBay who was both in the United States and had this car. So I actually paid almost double of what I could have just because I didn't want to order from China and take 3 months on shipping. So I ordered it from America for double. And after all that, it was a scam. And it still did come from China. It came from Shanghai, China. So I got scammed for my money. He lied in his ad in order to get people to buy from him. And it worked because a schmuck like me believed him. I mean, it wasn't too bad of a scam. I still got the car. And I actually didn't even have to wait that long. I think it took like 3 or 4 days longer than what I was told it was going to take, which really is not that bad when you're talking about eBay. Like, I've literally waited 4 months for stuff to get shipped to me before. So far, I haven't broken anything. So far, I am only happy with this car. I absolutely recommend this car. Even for the $128 that I paid for it, I'm still happy. But if you go get it for the 75 to 85 that it's being sold for all over the place, it is absolutely worth it. Go buy yourself some shock oil and go buy yourself some good glue, Minga. Don't get glue. Get grease. Get yourself some good grease. Lube up the things that need lubing. Don't overdo it with the grease though. Get yourself some good shock oil. Fill these shocks up the right way. Empty them the right way. Fill them up the right way. Set them the right way. And if you're feeling a little froggy, upgrade to brushless. So, I am still convinced that I have the fastest WlToys A959 non-B in the world. But as far as this goes, everybody, go buy the car, go buy all the upgrades, and we can all do the exact same thing we were doing with that. Seeing who can get the top speed on their cars. Who can get the fastest car. I think Birmingham RC, he has a 959B with a 979 body, and he got up to 83 miles an hour. And that is right around there, but it's still not the same car. He has a 959B, I have a 959. So as far as the regular 959s go, I think I have the fastest one in the world. The unconfirmed top speed of 86 miles per hour. Let the games begin with this one. This is going to be fun.